Welcome to the podcast. So glad that you're here today. My name is Michelle Sinclair. I am a divine healer, so I help people physically heal all kinds of things. And what it really is we get in tune with the love, just like Jesus did. He would preach about the love, he would tell the people about it, and then he would prove to them what he was saying by healing people. So very similar in regards to that. So what we're talking about here today is releasing dogma. And so there will be some paragraphs directly here from the Christ letters that I am going to read to you. So in fact, I'm going to start with those. So beliefs are the very substance of religion. They're founded on age-old happenings, which are nothing but belief. The beliefs may have been relevant to the general mindset of those times, but they've long since become irrelevant in a constantly changing world, yet they are strictly adhered to and become the focus of worship, festivities, celebrations, and mourning, and more destructively, they become the reason for men killing one another and causing horrific misery to women and children. People in the past, and also in present time, directed their lives according to old wives' tales, the power of the ancestors and other legends, and they believe in them so implicitly, the limitations imposed by these beliefs restricted people's actions and activities. Dancing was believed to be sinful and wicked by certain Christian sects, for instance. Therefore, many people who would have derived great happiness and release from stress when dancing were wrongfully denied this pleasure. Now, I know that sometimes it can be very difficult, but you must be open to receive new information in ways that may seem unacceptable to you. Just as when Jesus came, he was rejected by the very ones he was sent to save, the Jews. His life-saving message was vehemently denied by those which it was intended to reach. Now, I know personally for myself, I found a higher truth on my own. I had a friend who began to question me years ago about the Bible and my beliefs. And she was being visited regularly by the Jehovah's Witnesses. And so she would visit with them, and then she would text me a question, and I would spout back some answer, and she would say, okay, where's that in the Bible? And so then I would search, and I would try to find what I was looking for, and it didn't take me long to realize, although this was happening daily for months and months, but I soon came to realize that not only my church, but hers as well, and I would assume every single church out there, was taking the Bible and making it say whatever the heck they wanted it to, whatever they wish for it to say. And you would think that studying the Bible would increase my faith. I guess you could say that it did. It increased my faith, but not in the Bible. And after my experience of really diving deep and realizing that lots of the beliefs that I held had come from what the church pastors along my way had believed and was not even based on what had been written in the Bible, I questioned it even more. And upon really searching the Bible, I realized that for me there was no longer any spiritual life within these pages. They were words that could be interpreted as you wish them to be, and they did not bring any kind of comfort or truth that were speaking to my soul. So, the next several years, I was on a spiritual journey by myself. And I remember a wonderful friend, Wendy, telling me why I had been alone in it, and I do agree with what she said. She told me that I had not had someone else, and or had I had someone else, and had I listened to their ideas, I would have always questioned whether or not the ideas were really real, or had I just learned them from someone else, another form of dogma. And therefore my quest for the truth would lead me to where I am now. Because I cleansed away through hypnosis all of the fears surrounding religious dogma. And let me tell you, they were deep. I remember fearing that I was going to go to hell just for thinking some of the things that I was thinking. I actually had to deprogram the beliefs out of myself because they were causing me so much chaos and disruption, and they were not the truth. Now, things I knew in my soul were not true, but yet my mind kept bringing them up in me. Well, if you're wrong, you're going to hell, the voice would tell me. And I knew for certain that this was not the truth. I knew it in my soul, and yet my mind wouldn't stop. And of course, the voices I would hear telling me this were not God. They were my own voice, or the voices of others who had told me this in the past. And when I healed this belief, I set myself free. And I then discovered the Christ letters within a couple of years. And to me, this rung true unlike anything I had ever heard before. I could not stop listening to the messages. And considering my work that I had been doing for years and years at this point, subconscious healing, and what I had witnessed and had already experienced and seen for myself through the patterns of my own clients' mental programming, I knew that what was being spoken in these letters was the absolute truth, because there would be some kind of miraculous healing that would occur, and the only thing that was actually occurring was they were changing the beliefs that they had in their mind, but it would change their life. And I was seeing this. And so then it was later confirmed for me, after years of studying and setting aside special time to study. And when I learned how to heal and was gifted this knowledge that is spoken about in the Christ letters, gifted to me by the divine through my devotion to the divine, and I just want you to know that this is always available to anyone with an open mind who's here seeking knowledge and spiritual truth and insight, all the time, always available. But as a young child, I performed many so-called miracles. And at the time, I didn't realize how exactly I had accomplished these things other than I had faith. And I see now the process in which these things were allowed to happen. And it was indeed faith coupled with the spoken word. Now, Jesus told us to have faith. And he didn't tell us to have faith that if we believe in his death, we would be wiped clean of our sinning and go to heaven. No, he didn't say that. He said have faith. And faith is exactly what I had when I spoke out with conviction and created these so-called miracles. They are not miracles. I had perfect faith. And therefore, I do not condemn the churches as they, to me, are like spiritual kindergarten. The facts may have been skewed, but they did teach me about having faith. However, for a moment, let me talk about faith as it pertains in real life. And let me correct something from the Bible. And once I do, you'll realize that it never really made any sense, yet it was accepted and believed. So when we talk about having faith the size of a mustard seed in the Bible, this is a misquote. Faith is not a size. You either have it completely or you don't have it at all. Now, if you had faith, yet you had a mustard seed of doubt, then you no longer have faith, you have doubt. A mustard seed is so tiny. Yet if you allow doubt in any size to creep into your faith, then you now have doubt and you do not have faith. Now, this is the most important element to note when speaking and creating seeming miracles. Faith with zero doubt. This is how it's done. Now, this can be easily accomplished after you've experienced the true love of the divine. And when you've embodied the words on the pages in the Christ letters, you will experience an inflow of divine love unlike anything you have ever experienced in your entire life. And it takes faith to get to this point. And yet at this point of illumination, your faith will increase and become unshakable. Now, Jesus did come to this planet to teach us how to live in the best way possible. He came here to teach us how to be in the flow of divine love and to teach it and to share it and to spread it throughout the planet. And this will cause a great upliftment of the spirit. Our planet does also evolve spiritually, not just physically and mentally. They all go hand in hand. And when you realize that all that you cherish so much is not necessarily the truth, but it is instead belief, you can begin to unravel all that has held you back and kept you from the inflow of that divine love being experienced in every single facet of your life. Now, when we speak about the miracles and the creation and the releasing dogma, here let me tell you this. Now, the problem with the churches, the Christian churches nowadays, is that they are not teaching you how Jesus healed. And there are many people that attend these churches and they are sick as dogs and they are not healing. Now, why is this? It is because the words that are being spoken from the pulpit do not contain spiritual life or truth within them to the extent that it needs to be, because we are evolving now. It worked for the last, couple thousand years, I suppose, but it's not going to cut it anymore. Now, Jesus said, "Greater things than I have done will you do," but who can claim this? I don't know anybody, including myself. I can help heal people. He did this too. Greater things that hasn't happened yet. And I would imagine it would take a big collective of us that is all believe in the same thing to create something magnanimous, to show the world, hey, look at what's happening here. Something huge just went down. They did something greater than Jesus, and I can't wait for that day to come. But until that day, the things that are in regards to Christian dogma or any other dogma, I want you to know that all it is belief. It is belief. Now, these beliefs can harm you, or these beliefs can heal you. Beliefs can do wonderful good things for you, or beliefs can do very detrimental things for you. And you get to choose every single day what it is that you put your belief in and what it is that you put your faith in. Now, you can put your faith and your belief into something that is very damaging, like, I suck and I'm never going to be much. Well, that's a belief that you have, and it's going to play out in your life. You're going to witness it. Or you can put your belief in something wonderful, like, I believe that only love exists, and I see it everywhere that I go. And then when you leave your house, you're going to see the love everywhere that you go. Whatever you put your belief and your faith in is what you will experience. Now, to get to the point of having no doubt, this can be tricky. I know it. But it's not impossible. In fact, it's very, very possible. Now, the reason why perhaps in the past you have not been able to speak something out and have it be created is because you don't have faith in it. You do not believe that it's possible for you. That's a belief. You don't believe it's possible for you, so you're showing yourself your belief. You're in fact manifesting exactly your belief when you say that. So if you change this belief, when you change this belief to something that's actually more beneficial, to something that's in alignment with the love, then everything's going to change for you. So when you examine your mind and you see all the kinds of things that you're believing that have been holding you back, and you realize perhaps even religion is one of them. When there's all of these rigid restrictions of, you need to think this thought in your head, and if you believe this, then, well, when you die, then your life's going to stop being crap, and then your life will be good. Well, no, I don't believe that for 1 second. I believe that we're creating heaven here on earth, and we're doing it here right now. And it's you and me. And this is an evolution of consciousness. And this is the collective that's going to create this heaven or this hell here on earth. And so far right now, we've been in the dark. There's a lot of darkness. There's a lot of fear that is being played out here on this planet. And because of that, because of this fear that is being played out here on this planet, we now experience hell instead of heaven. I mean, it totally depends on the individual, but as a collective, we experience what the collective is experiencing. So let's say the 90% of the population believes in hell, and so they put all their faith, or believes in fear, and so they put all their faith in this fear rather than the love. Well, then the collective, if it's 90%, is going to affect every single person here on the planet unless you have escaped it and then other outside influences no longer influence you. But if you haven't got to that point yet and you still have fear within you, well, fear can attach to more fear. So it's a steady process that needs to be let go of. So when I'm saying in regards to faith, and if you have fear, and you might say, well, I'm not afraid. I pray for this thing and I hope for it. I'm not afraid. Well, if you do not believe with 100% faith that, of course, the divine is going to help you out in this way and provide for you in this way, then you do have fear. And there will probably be a fear of, but I'm not good enough, or I'm not lovable, or, the divine doesn't love me. The divine does these things for other people, and yeah, the divine loves me, but maybe not as much as they love this person. I'm not perfect enough. There will be all kinds of beliefs that will be underlying in your life that you will be holding on to, that will be playing out for you, and you will see these as just your life. But really, it is a manifestation of your beliefs. And so if you were to change those beliefs, because you're manifesting constantly right now, always in this exact moment, you're manifesting in this moment. Whatever vibration you're at right now, whether it's heaven or hell, that's the one that you're manifesting in the world, more and more and more of it. And so when you put your faith in the love, and you believe in only the love like Jesus did, then you will experience that. Now, I know, you say, well, they strung him up. He didn't experience only the love. You're right. But you know what? Jesus got pissed pretty often. He was flipping tables. He would spout back when people were harassing him, because people were harassing him. And so he was given it, and he got it back. Now, when he got hung up on the cross there, his life ended. Previous to this, He had spoken out and he had cursed a fig tree, and it had withered to its roots in one day, overnight. He looked at that fig tree, it didn't have any fruit on it, and he was hungry, and so he cursed it, and he said, may you never bear fruit again. And when he came by and he walked by that tree the next day, it was dead. Dead, gone, withered to its roots. Never had his words caused harm to anything or anyone before. And he knew, because he did that he would have to reap the karma from it. And he did, as he withered to his roots up on the cross. So your words are very, very powerful, and they hold vibrations, and these vibrations are creations. Now, in regards to the religious dogma, if you are believing something that is not allowing you to be yourself, then you're believing something that's incorrect. If you are believing something that is making you feel real bad, not making you feel free, then you are believing something that is incorrect. Now, you must understand this about the Bible. It was written by men who have their own opinions and who like to flavor things so that they would be deemed acceptable. And so at the time, when some of Jesus' disciples were writing about things, first of all, they weren't really understanding what he was preaching, because this was such a new message. He did not come to, continue on with the Jewish traditions and the dogma and those things. No, he came to end it. But because they were under the Roman Empire, and that had to do with the church and all the things and the control back in the day, these disciples felt as if they couldn't just speak freely and say Jesus' true message, that they had to flavor it with the old stuff so that it would be accepted by the people. And so, it panned out. It's been around for a couple thousand years. They did a good job. The message got through. People are still talking about Jesus 2,000 years after he's dead. Who else are we talking about for that long? Not many people, right? It mattered. What he did mattered. And the fact that we're still talking about it, and now he has returned through the medium of the Christ letters, well, people can be now open and receptive to it, but there will be people, of course, that are not. There will be people that are under so much religious fear, so much religious dogma, that they are afraid to have an opinion and to even think certain thoughts, because they know that, if I think this certain thought, I might go to hell. Well, let me tell you here, darlings, my darlings, you're creating it right now. It's right now. Do not save it up. Don't save this up or save that up and wait till you die and hope that, I'm going to be in heaven. It's going to be so great. You're going to a wonderful place. But we're doing it here. We do not need to wait till we die to live a wonderful life. No, we are doing it here. But the whole church telling us, oh no, you just wait. No, you need to do this. You need to restrict yourself here. You need to not do that. You need to do more of this. You need to think this thing. You need to think that thing. And then when you die, then it'll be all worth it when you die. Well, I don't know about you, but I want to live my life right now, and I want to live a heavenly life right now. And because I've been able to do that, because the Christ Letters has taught me how to do this, and the Christ Letters has taught me how to create physical healing in people, and taught me how to create all kinds of wonderful things like emotional fulfillment and whatnot, I've got to say that I think that the way that I've been thinking, because of these Christ Letters and because of the illumination that came to my brain when I had the enlightenment, that I think I'm on to something here. And that we can create this heaven for ourselves. Now, I get feedback all the time from people telling me, like, man, what you were talking about is actually working. I tested it out, I did it for a week, and this is what happened. And I'm like, dude, I know, but if you did this every day and not just for like 1 week, and you did it for like all the time, you could completely change your whole entire life, completely 100%, every single little ounce of it. And I got to tell you, my life right now, and my life 2 years ago, it just keeps getting better. It just keeps evolving, and things just keep changing, and I'm just getting more and more and more heaven in my life every single day. And it's a wonderful, amazing blessing that I have been gifted by the divine, because I have faith and I have belief and I have expectancy that I'm going to be living a heavenly life. And because I expect it and I don't have any doubts, I experience it. It's truly that simple. Now, I know I say it's simple, but it's simple for me because I've had the illumination. I've felt the full love. And there is nothing that is comparable to it. And I've done all kinds of drugs, I've done all kinds of everything, and there's nothing that is even comparable to that love, which is why when I experienced it, if I did have an ounce of doubt in me before, it all went away. And I understood that when it's our intent, and especially if it's physical healing, and our intent is to just let the divine do the divine's work, and then to give a joyful thanks that the work is already done. It's already done. It's already accomplished. It's truly that simple. But just like how Jesus went and he would heal people, he would go and then he would say, now go and sin no more, meaning don't do the thing that caused you to get sick in the first place, because anytime that you're sick with something, anytime you got your body breaking down in some way, it is your body speaking to you and it is telling you, hey, you need to address this certain thing, and that certain thing will always be some unresolved past trauma or some belief that you have within you that is causing you to be sick. Now I gotta say, I've been through some things in my life. And so I got to say, for some people, the physical illness will be the hardest thing, the most difficult trying thing that they will go through in this life. And they can and will learn so much from it. It is the gift. And if you're just walking down life's path and all of a sudden you get some kind of sickness and you get some kind of something, don't be downhearted. Don't be let down about it. Be thankful for it, because there will be some learning and there will be some lesson that will come from it. Be thankful for it now, before you actually witness the healing with your own eyes and feel it physically inside your body. Know that it's going to occur, that it's happening, it's already happening right now, and all you need to do is step out of the way of it. Now I want to tell you a story. So there was this dude, and he had a leg injury and it wouldn't heal. And this was going on for a significant amount of time. He had had surgery, comes out, wound won't heal. So it's going on and on and on and on and on. He goes to this person, that person, trying to fix it, and nothing's working. So he ends up going to a hypnotist. So this hypnotist takes him back, follows it back, and goes to the beginning of this and realizes that when he was on the surgery table, the surgeon, or at least somebody in that room, said, I don't know about this, I don't know how it's going to heal. And because he was in such a suggestible state, meaning he wasn't even conscious, but your soul is always there, whether you're sleeping, whether you're awake, whether you're not, it's always listening, it's always there. But because his soul was in such a suggestible state, because he didn't have any conscious wherewithal to detest and say no, I don't agree with him, of course I'm going to heal just fine, because he didn't have that, he took it in as belief. And then his leg didn't heal. So what happens? Well, he goes to a hypnotist. Well, he changes his belief about it. Of course, he's going to heal, and then his leg healed. So I tell you that to tell you this. When you believe something, it will affect you whether you believe it is or not. When you believe something, not just, about your physical body, I got a sore elbow, and it's from my Aunt Martha because she had a sore elbow too, whatever it happens to be, there is a belief that is underlying that is causing the physical sickness. Always, every single time. Now, I have had people come to me for physical healing, and they came, and their sickness was not attached to some type of emotion, which it typically is. Theirs was purely there to help them increase their faith, so that they could walk around and they could say, God healed me. God healed me. That was the purpose of them getting sick in the first place and suffering for years and years and years and years and years. Well, if you knew that you would suffer for years and years and years, but something amazing was going to come from your suffering, wouldn't that help ease the suffering while it was occurring? I know it certainly would for me. Had I known, when I had found out everything about my life crashing down around me with my ex and whatnot, had I known that just beautiful, wonderful things would have come from it, well, I would have been not in that 6 months of wishing I was dead. I would have been in 6 months of thankfulness for what wonderful things are coming to me. Oh, this is so exciting. But of course, you don't know until you know. You don't know until after the fact. And usually when you're going through something, you don't see it clearly until you're long done and over that thing. And you moved on to the next, and you're like, this is why, because I met you, and because I met you, and because we were supposed to go do this thing, and we were supposed to help these people over here. And had that thing not happened, then none of these things would have happened. I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. Had this not happened and had that not happened, then none of these things would have happened. So be thankful for everything, my darlings. Be thankful for the sickness. Be thankful for the health. Be thankful for all of it, because all of it works together. It's all part of the gift. It's all the beautiful gift. But in regards to religious dogma, I know it can be difficult. It can be very, very difficult to hear something, to know like, ooh, you know what, I feel like that is true, but to then have a feeling come attached to it that's like, oh, but what if I'm wrong? I knew this man in our town that I lived in for about 20 years, and he had grown up in a cult. And so he left that cult when he was, I can't remember, like 18 or something like this. But he said, and this is years and years and years later, he said, I know I did the right thing, but sometimes I still get a feeling, and I still think, what if I'm not right though? And what if I do go to hell? And something like that can really mess with the person, right? What a terrible, terrible thing that is. To think that, oh, well, if I don't agree with this, but if I don't think this way, this bad thing, I'm going to end up in hell, burning in a sulfur pool forever. That sounds totally not enjoyable. I don't know that I want that. But it is fear-based. And so I'm telling you, you'll know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Every day, all day, all the time, always, always, always. The truth will set you free. So, if there's something that you've been questioning and you're thinking, okay, but what if I go to hell? Well, say that statement. Does it make you feel free? Well, if it doesn't, then it's not the truth. And so many people doubt themselves. They doubt their inner knowing. They doubt it. Why do they doubt it? Many Christians doubt this because we're told, at least I was in the church that I grew up in, that your gifts are evil. I mean, some of them are good, depending on where you're using it, what you're doing with it. But some of them are, they're bad. Well, I don't think, we're made in the image of the divine, of the creator. So the divine is a creator. So that means that we are then too creators. The divine is mystical and magical. So then you're also mystical and magical. But when people tell you that it's a bad or an evil thing to be what you are, and you accept it and believe it is truth, it will take away from your power. It will lead you down a road of spiritual emptiness, because you are the Spirit. You have it within you. It moves within you. You are it. And so when you have the Spirit come in and it tells you something amazing and wonderful, and you have somebody telling you, oh, that's an evil thing, that's a horrible thing that you've done there, and then you believe that, well, then you believe your own self to be evil, and you will gain all kinds of beliefs that will be detrimental and that will play out in every single area of your life. But when you believe the truth, which was what Jesus was preaching, he was just telling people about the love, and he would use nature as his example. He would look out in the nature and he'd say, you see this over there and the thing? And then he'd be like, yeah, you look at those birds. Yeah, you see how they do the thing? Well, that's because they're love. They got these, they're really light. They can fly. They're protected. They're provided for. Every need that they have is met because of the love. And then he would go over and say, well, look at the sheep over there. Well, the same thing. And he'd go through it and he'd tell the people. And then he'd show them the tree. And then he'd tell them about the tree. And then all the things. And he'd show them that, see, there's just love. That's all you're seeing everywhere. It's love. And it's perfect love, and it goes off without a hitch, because they do not use their free will, meaning their mind, to interrupt the flow of the perfect divine love. Whereas us humans, we freaking do it. We do it all the time. We're like, what? No, what? And then we resist all of these things, and then our life ends up being hell. This was not the intent. We were told, we were given free will, but we weren't really told what the free will was. Oh, you can do what you want to do. You can decide this, you can decide that. Well, your free will is your thoughts, and your speaking, and your actions. But the thing that they didn't really tell you about this is that those are the things that create your life. The thoughts that you have are electric. Now, through magnetism, they're returned back to you. So electromagnetism. Something goes out, an electrical shock of some sort. Let's say it goes out at 422 hertz. Okay, it's going out. It is going to go out and it's going to disappear for some length of time. Where does it go? And they'll never be able to tell you. But does it return? Yes, every time. And it will return back, and you're like, what? It came back at 422 hertz. What happened there? This is a law, cause and effect, electromagnetism. Your thoughts are electric. So every thought that you have, you get free will. Remember this. Every thought that you have goes out at a very certain frequency. Now, vibration is creation. Now, frequency is vibration. So our thoughts go out at a certain frequency, at a certain vibration, and they create. So that space, the scientists call it space because they don't know what it is. It's just the nothingness. It goes out into this space, this nothingness, and it imbues that electrical current. It goes out and it creates that tiny little mote. Jesus called it. You can call it a cell, something so small you can't even see it with your eyes. But it goes out and it creates. And so when you have these repetitive thoughts and you have these repetitive things, well, you're creating, but you're doing it all the time. You're doing it right now, in this exact second. You're doing it right now. You're always creating in the right now. And so as these thoughts go out, you send them out, and then they're returned back to you. So let's say you send out an evil thought. You send out a bad thought to somebody. Oh, you sent that evil thought out? Oh, well, it's going to be returned back at that same frequency that you sent it out. So what have you done? Have you blessed someone or have you cursed someone? With your thoughts, you have free will. You get to choose. And whatever it is that you're putting out, you're going to get back, because this electromagnetism brings order into chaos. Otherwise, you could go around and you could spread out all this hateful stuff and do all these, and you could curse every fig tree you walk by and nothing would happen to you. But that is not the way that it was set up. It was set up to bless you. So let it be a blessing. And it's your free will. It's your choice. You get to choose every day, all day long, what it is that you think about and what it is that you don't. Now, I know that we talked about this before, and we were talking about resistance, and when something comes in your head and you're like, oh no, I'm not going to give that the time of day, I'm not going to think about it. Now, there's a difference between not thinking about something and resisting something. Because if something keeps popping into your head and it will not leave you alone, there is something that needs to be addressed. There's something that I don't care if it was 50 years ago. If it keeps coming into your head, it's because there's something that's not healed. So that thing needs to be healed. Then you're not going to have to resist nothing, because it's not going to keep coming up. You're going to be perceiving it more honestly, more lovingly. You will have healed the root of the issue. But in regards to religious dogma, I know that there are many people who believe very vehemently certain things. And there are many people who are open-minded, but they're not open-minded about that. Well, even not being open-minded about that is showing that you have fear within you, meaning you have hell within you that you are experiencing. And if we are here to create heaven, then we cannot have hell in heaven. They don't mesh up. They're not like peas and carrots. They don't go together. You have one or you have the other. Or you have 80% of this one, 20% of this one. But why do we want that? Well, this is the evolution of consciousness that's occurring here. So there's going to be so many more people who are filled with so much light, so much beautiful freaking light, and they're going to go and they're going to spread it everywhere. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that don't like those people. Now, why don't they like those people? Because these people are illuminating things within other people that have not been healed yet. Because these people who are not filled with that light are casting out all kinds of judgments and criticisms and all kinds of low vibrations. And so when they see that high vibration, well, it does not resonate with them. They don't like it. You're exposing my darkness. Ugh, I don't like it. So there will be many people that oppose this, and this is totally cool. It's fine, it's good, great, keep opposing it, because at some point, like the 100th monkey experiment, we are going to get to a point where you can't deny it anymore, and you're just going to be swept up and you're going to be part of it, and we're going to create heaven here on earth. We do it. We're the ones who are doing it. But it's our free will. You know, we have a choice, and there's so much to learn in between that happening and where we're at right now. So it just takes little things. It takes little things like people realizing like, you're right, you know what, I was thinking this. Like, I can give you guys an example here today. I'm actually not going to, maybe I'll tell you sometime. I'm not going to give you my example today, but it's a really good one. Why did I even bring that up? Anyways, once people see that like, hey, I was just thinking about that and that thing just happened, and they see that this is a pattern, or hey, I was just speaking about that and then this thing happened, once they really realize that, oh, this isn't the coincidence. It's not a coincidence. It happened to me 189 times. There can't be anything coincidental about it. Okay, well, when people truly realize that, and then they're like, hey, you know what? I want to investigate this. I want to find out exactly how I'm doing that. And once they figure it out, Maybe they'll stumble across the Christ letters. Maybe they'll hear one of these episodes. Then they're going to go, oh, of course, that makes so much sense. I've noticed these patterns in my life over here. I've noticed this over here. And they're going to notice all kinds of things. And then little by little, because that's what it is, it's just baby bits by baby bits, we become perfect. And when we become perfect, then the shift happens. And yes, you're already perfect, my darling. You. Yeah. You're already perfect. It is only the mind that must stop thinking differently. Definitely, you're perfect. You are 100%. And you know this. And you know that it is only your mind, and it continually telling itself, nah, this, nah, that, blah, blah, blah. It continually repeating the beliefs that you hold within your subconscious mind to you. That is the detrimental thing. Because none of those things that you are believing are the truth, because they don't feel like freedom, do they, darling? They do not, baby. And you know that I'm telling you the truth. So I want you to go through that list of all those beliefs that you have that you know are pure crap, and I want you to prove to yourself that they are pure crap, because not even one of them feels like the truth, because the truth will set you free. And when you get into alignment with the real love, with the real truth, then you'll see. Then you'll know. Then you'll want to spread the word, and you're going to want to tell every single person in your family, every single one of your friends. You're going to want to tell them, hey, dudes, you know, you can improve this part of your life. I mean, I know that this happens to you all the time in regards to this, in regards to that, and I'm telling you, I can see the pattern. I know why it's happening. Because you're talking about it, because you're speaking about it, because you believe in it, and you will be able to help influence other people. And then this is how evolution happens. Because spiritual evolution is happening whether we like it or not. And we can't go off of something that happened 2,000 years ago and keep those same rigid limitations and restrictions and create something wonderful here on earth. We just can't do it. And if what they were doing is right, then every single person in the church should be healing like Jesus. They should be healing like Jesus. If they were teaching you how to do things properly, and if they were teaching you the truth in the churches, everyone should be able to do that. So why can't they do that? Because there is no longer any spiritual life that is in there. They are just words that are being spoken. And as soon as you bring actual spirit, the spirit of life back in, then everything just changes and shifts and becomes beautiful and wonderful. Changes everything. Anyways, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for being so loyal and listening to me every day. I just think that this is just so wonderful. I love you guys so much. Thank you for your likes and your comments and your phone calls and your emails and all the things. You guys are amazing. I just hope you have the most wonderful rest of your day today. I'll see you tomorrow.